Hello Legacy students, welcome to section 3.2 and 3.3, which is on operations on inequalities. Some materials you're going to want this evening: notebook, pencil, and then you may want a calculator, however it's probably not needed. So this video is going to focus on performing operations on inequalities. That means we're going to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So this is going to look similar to when we solved equations. So if you remember back when we would have solved these, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I would get x equals 4. Or if I would divide by 2 here, I'm going to get x equals 3. So let's keep this in mind when we see a problem similar to this. So we need to solve inequalities by addition or subtraction. Now, approach this just like this would have been an equal sign. So I'm going to ask you, how would you have solved a problem like that? So what I'm going to do, you're going to add 15, right? And we would get x equals 3. So same thing applies here, but we just have a greater than symbol. I'm going to add 15 to both sides. And we're going to get x, carry the inequality symbol down, greater than 3. And then they say graph it. So x is greater than 3. So I'm going to put my numbers. I got 2, 3, and 4. Open dot at 3. And then my arrow is pointing to the right. Pretty simple, right? Just pretty much what we've been doing already. So this one, we're going to approach it just like we would have done if this would have been equal. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I get negative 13 is greater than or equal to y. Now, if you remember, I do not like when the variable's on the right-hand side. It's really hard to graph that way. So I'm going to flip it around. So I know that that is the same as y is less than or equal to negative 13. So now I can graph it. So I got negative 13 in the middle here, negative 14 on the end, and negative 12 over here. Close circle at negative 13. See if I can actually do my closed circle. There we go. Because I have a less than or equal to sign. And then I'm going to shade to the left. Now, when solving inequalities by multiplication and division, one thing you need to be very careful about when multiplying and dividing. If you divide or multiply by a negative number, you must flip this inequality symbol. So instead of you would have a greater than symbol, we need to flip it to a less than. Please make sure that this gets in your notebook and it gets either highlighted or you star it, because this is a very important thing that happens. It's not when you add and subtract, only when you multiply and divide. This will cause you a lot of problems if you forget about it. So I want to make sure that you remember it, so somehow highlight it, star it in your notes, write it in a different color if you must, anything like that. So let's look at this one. What are the solutions of x over 3 is less than negative 27? So if you would approach this one and there was an equal sign, we would have multiplied by 3 on both sides. There we go. So I'm going to multiply by 3. So my 3's are going to cancel. I'm going to be left with x is less than, and then negative 27 times 3 is negative 81. So I'm going to be able to put my numbers on my number line now. There we go. Now, I'm going to have an open dot at negative 81. And then I'm going to shade to the left because my arrow is pointing to the left. Pretty simple. What are the solutions of negative 3 over 4 times w is greater than or equal to 3? So if you remember, to get rid of a fraction here, I need to multiply by its reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply. Just cannot draw that sign today. There we go. 4 over negative 3. So that's going to cancel out over here. We'll be left with w. Now I'm going to multiply by 4 over negative 3 on this side. So my 3's are going to cancel. and I'm going to be left with -4. But now, there should be a red light going off, and you should be thinking, Miss Marsh, we multiplied by a negative. So what I need to do, instead of doing a greater than symbol, I need to flip it to a less than symbol. So I get W is less than or equal to -4. So I'm going to graph that. Put a closed dot at -4. And then scribble to the left. Now, the reason behind why I have to flip that symbol. Otherwise, I'd be shading the wrong way. And if I would plug in the solution -6, I would actually get not a true solution. It wouldn't actually work in my inequality. That's why I need to make sure I flip the sign. Let's try this one. Now, if you notice, this one's a little different. Instead of multiplying this time, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. I get W is less than or equal to 1. So I got 1, I got 0, and I got 2. Closed dot at 1. And my shade is going to go to the right. Now, this one. They want to know about the solutions of -9y is less than or equal to 63. So, I'm going to divide by -9, just like you normally would have done. And I get y and -7. Now, there should be another red light going off, and you should be saying, oh, Miss Marsh, we divided by a negative. So, I'm going to flip my sign. So I got -7, -8, -6, closed dot at -7, because I have a less, greater than, or equal to symbol, and shade to the right. Now, some story problems, and you see inequalities a lot in your life. You walk dogs in your neighborhood after school. You earn about $4.50 per dog you walk. How many dogs do you need to walk to earn at least $75? So, for each dog I walk, I get to get $4.50. So I know that, let's say D is the number of dogs I walk. So the money I get for each time I walk my dogs, I would get $4.50 times the number of dogs. So I know 4.50 times D is the money I get from dog walking. Now I want to earn at least $75. So at least, that means at the smallest amount I want 75. So I know this must be greater than or equal to 75. So now I'm good. Now I need to figure out what D is. So I'm going to divide by 4.5. And I get D is greater than or equal to 16.6 repeating dogs. Now, I can't have 0.6 of a dog. Just doesn't work out. Can't really walk 0.6 of a dog. So I know I need to round up to the nearest whole. I need 17 dogs to make at least $75. And that's the end of the video. Hope you're watching. See you later.